Welcome to the June 14th, 2023 meeting of the Baltimore County Design Review Panel. I am the chair, Joseph Yusufero. And we typically go through a couple different items up front before we get into the agenda, but we're going to pivot a little bit. And before we go into the agenda, I'd like to introduce Ms. Jennifer Nugent for a special presentation by the Department of Planning. So, Jennifer, the floor is yours.
Thank you, Joe. And I'd like to say that this being your first meeting as chair, welcome, and we're glad to have you. And, oh God, perfect timing. Hold on one second. I'm very sorry about that. I was outside and the firehouse across the street decided to have an emergency. I would like to do a special presentation this evening for our outgoing chair, Ms. Cecily Bedwell, who has consistently and steadfastly led the design review panel for many, many years, not only as a member, but also as our chair. And so on behalf of the county executive, an executive citation was written on her behalf and signed by the Johnny Oshevsky, and it says, executive citation for Cecily Bedwell. In recognition and gratitude for exceptional commitment and dedication for the past 7 years to Baltimore County's Design Review Panel, your superior results-driven leadership and devotion for excellence increase the quality of commercial and residential projects in the downtown Towson area and throughout Baltimore County. Your vision, knowledge, and advice greatly contributed and increased the standard of life for thousands of citizens of Baltimore County. On behalf of all of its residents, Baltimore County thanks you for your commitment to this influential panel. Given under my hand of the Great Seal of Baltimore County, this 10th day of May in the year 2023, signed John A. Olszewski Jr., County Executive. So Cecily, I think it goes without saying, all of us on the panel and all of us in the Department of Planning and in the county have greatly appreciated your knowledge, your professionalism, your consistency, and your dedication to this panel. So we thank you very much, and we hope to see you again in the future.
Thank you, Jennifer. I'm looking forward to seeing where Joe takes this. It's been my absolute honor and privilege to work with you all. It's quite a professional department you have, and yeah, it's really been my honor to serve, and I know this is in good hands going forward. So with that, thank you. Appreciate it.
You're welcome.
Okay, well,
congratulations. It's wonderful.
Yeah. Thank you, Jennifer, and Cecily, congratulations. Well done.
And I may depart at this point, correct? As we go forward.
You are not on the official roll call sheet, so you may depart. Your time is up.
Can I get a motion to depart? All right. Thank you all, and good luck going forward.
Okay. So continuing on the standard procedure here, we will go ahead and start with a roll call to account for the members of the panel that are present on the call. So when you hear your name, please say aye. Mr. Khan?
Aye.
Mr. Renaud?
Aye.
Mr. Sharma?
Aye.
Ms. Sauce?
Aye.
Mr. Stevens?
Aye.
And is Ms. Ennis on the phone?
Okay. I don't think she's attending tonight. She replied that she has a conflict.
Okay, great. And I think I may have heard Mr. Fran Anderson, the residential reviewer. Are you there, Fran?
I am.
Okay, excellent. Thank you. And again, my name is Joseph Yusufero, the incoming chair. I'm honored to be here, and I'm honored to lead this panel. So may I ask Marta, are there any changes to the tentative agenda as published?
There are no changes except we did our special presentation at the beginning. So thank you for flexibility, and there are no changes except of that.
Great, thank you. So let's go ahead and make a motion on the minutes of the March 8th, 2023 Design Review Panel meeting. In the March 30th, 2023 email, you received draft minutes of the March 8th, 2023 meeting. Has everybody had an opportunity to review the draft minutes? Hearing no objection, I'm going to take that as everybody reviewed the draft minutes. Are there any corrections or additions to the minutes of the March 8th, 2023 DRP meeting? Hearing none. Who would like to make a motion to accept the minutes as circulated?
So moved.
Thank you, Mr. Khan. Do I have a second?
Second, Joe. This is Matt.
Okay, Matt, thank you. All in favor, if you could say aye.
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 Any opposed to the motion? Hearing none, the motion carries. Thank you very much. Now it's my job to read an opening statement as it relates to the design review panel. So bear with me, this will take a couple minutes or so, but this will really help everybody understand the rules and regulations of the panel. So Title 4, Subtitle 2, Part 1, Sections 32.4.203 and 204 establish the design review panel with the acronym DRP. The DRP was established to encourage design excellence and shall act in a consulting and advisory capacity to the agencies involved in the process for reviewing development plans. The objectives for the DRP's assessment include spatial, visual, and functional relationship to the topographic characteristics, the natural and built features of the site, as well as the surrounding features of the site, visual and functional integration of streetscapes, pedestrian pathways, playgrounds, recreational amenities and parks, streets and sidewalks are laid out in a safe and convenient manner, and parking is a positive design element. Building, parking garages, and other structures are spatially and visually integrated and suitable to their surroundings in proportion, massing, and types of materials and colors, signage, and other elements of the urban design. And plant materials are selected and cited to define the site, provide a theme, frame of view, enhance architecture and street character, improve microclimate, provide transition between dissimilar uses, screen objectionable views and uses, and reduce noise levels and glare. In carrying out its duties, the DRP utilizes the guidelines, plans, and architectural principles in the Comprehensive Manual of Design Policies and/or Master Plan, as well as other guidelines and regulations adopted into law. Certain areas of the county were designated by the County Council to require review by the DRP. The panel will provide a technical review of the proposed project. Issues relative to zoning, setback relief, environmental, and stormwater management and traffic regulations do not fall under the purview of the DRP and are regulated through appropriate agencies responsible for those aspects of the development plan review process. The panel consists of 9 members. All are professionals with practical knowledge in the matters of design. For purposes of making recommendations on a particular project, 3 members shall constitute a quorum. The attendance and comments of each member shall be recorded in the minutes, which shall be an open record and available, along with all documents submitted to the panel for inspection and copying by the public. There will be an opportunity for the community to offer comments and suggestions at the conclusion of the applicant's presentation. These comments will also be included in the written record of the meeting. When a speaker is called up to speak, please keep your comments focused on design perspectives within your allotted 2 minutes time. Or if you're speaking on behalf of a community group, you will get 5 minutes. At the conclusion of the meeting, the Department of Planning will sum up the recommendations of the panel before a motion for a vote is suggested. Recent legislation has changed the panel's recommendations to be advisory on the hearing officer and the various county agencies, unless the hearing officer or agencies find the panel's actions constitute an abuse of its discretion or are unsupported by the documentation and evidence presented. Disposition of the plan will be determined as either approved with conditions, or additional review with a second meeting is required. So that is they're the rules and regulations. As we've already gone through the special presentation from the Department of Planning, we will move on to the first item, which is 1710 Ruxton Road in the RRL RAIA residential review area. If the presenter would please introduce yourself, and the floor is yours.
Hi, my name is Jim Shetler. I am an architect with Trace Architects in Baltimore. And the project began to house a growing family of Joshua and Kelly Stone, as well as providing space for a growing car collection as well, but including a new owner's suite, study, billiard room, home gym, wine room, and in addition to some outdoor spaces, including terraces and outdoor dining. Next. This is an image of the existing home from Ruxton Road. Next. And this is a view looking northeast. The existing, or the original dwelling, is the stuccoed gabled roof, and then there were additions made since the original structure. Next. Another image from the backyard looking north. Next. Next, please. And this is looking towards the existing entrance. Next, please. This is the architectural site plan showing the existing dwelling with the addition. Next, please. This is the civil engineer's plan for grading for the project. Next. This is the landscape architect's plan. A majority of new plantings will be located near the addition, but there are some areas for screen planting along the private drive that is adjacent to the property. And that's private to others. Next. This is the proposed elevation from Ruxton Road. The existing dwelling is to the left, the addition is to the right. We are using a combination of materials that actually all the materials for the addition are from the existing structure. Next. And this is a view looking northeast of the addition, and which is in the foreground, and existing dwelling in the background. Next. And this is a view from the backyard looking northwest, showing the access to the new garage. Again, the addition in the foreground, and existing dwelling in the background to the right. Next. And this is a view from looking towards the west from the backyard. Again, the addition on the left, existing structure on the right. Next. And this is a view existing dwelling is in the foreground and the addition in the background. And again, the piece is the existing original house with a gable kind of on the right side. The addition in the back is using some of those cues for the massing. Next. And this is the image of the entrance with the existing building in the foreground and the addition in the background. Next. This is a panoramic shot on Ruxton Road showing the existing neighborhood with the house and the addition. Next. These are the existing floor plans with the addition of each floor. Next. This is the basement plan where we're providing a new gym, a wine room, and a garage for the car collection, as well as access by a new stair with a connection to the existing basement. Next. This is the first floor addition, which will house, continuing the stair, a study, billiard room, an overlook into the garage below, a terrace that accesses from the billiard room and study, and then an outdoor dining room which connects to the existing dining room of the house. Next, the second floor is a new owner's suite, which a portion of it will be used as a nursery when needed, and it includes a number of spaces for them for the owner's area. Next. This is the elevation from Ruxton Road in detail. We're using materials from the existing house, and they include stained cedar siding. We'll also have stained cedar sunscreening, travertine thin-set stone, simulated slate roof, 3-part cement stucco as well. And the windows are all aluminum-clad wood windows. Next, and this is the south elevation with the new garage. Again, the garage doors are matching the existing garage from the existing house. Next, this is the east elevation from the backyard. Next, this is a section through the outdoor dining that looks towards the addition. The gabled end piece is all stucco. And then we have portions of the stained cedar siding in the front. Next, this is a section through the outdoor dining that looks towards the existing house. Next, this is a site section showing the first floor elevation of about 17 feet above Ruxton Road. And that is my last image.
Okay, thank you very much for your presentation. So I'd like to ask Marta, are there any speakers from the public for this project who wish to speak?
No, there are no speakers. Joe, thank you for asking.
Okay, great. And it's my understanding, Marta, that there is no staff report because this is a residential project. Is that accurate?
That's correct.
Okay, great. All right, so let's go to the panel. As we typically do on residential jobs, let's start with Mr. Fran Anderson.
Thanks, Joseph. Just a couple of questions, and let me say, I mean, unto itself, it's a really nice design. But my first question is always the same. And in addition to reaching out to the community association to see if there was a meeting amongst neighbors, if there are any comments from neighbors, I always ask, the homeowner or the homeowner's representative, Mr. Shetler, perhaps it's you. Yeah. What was the nature of your meeting with the surrounding neighbors, and were there any discussions or concerns issued in discussed in those meetings? Anything you can share with us regarding that?
We submitted these documents in addition to the full permit set to Hope, the executive director, and she disseminated the information, and none of the immediate, in addition to following the guidelines of mailing, site plans and contacting the adjacent neighbors, kind of beyond, we contacted folks beyond the adjacent neighbors because there's a private drive that goes back. So there are a number of folks we contacted, but no one, they didn't have a meeting. The local community association did not have a meeting because no one asked for one.
Okay.
No one had any comments.
Yeah, and I did reach out to at least Jamie on the community association board, and actually I think he might even be on the call. I'm not sure. And there were no comments that I'm aware of, so that's good. I did have some concerns about perhaps the viewpoint of the neighbor specifically to your, I guess that would be south, right, where the majority of the massing of this structure is. And is most exposed, particularly the garages, right? But not hearing any concerns from that neighbor. I do have some thoughts about that. But could you just walk me through? The idea here is, right, you're going to have a driveway essentially around
It's not really, it's not a driveway.
I understand it's not a driveway, right?
No, it's
a grass
it's planted. I mean, you see it in schools a lot where they have fire lanes.
Right.
You don't even see the structure below. You just see grass.
Right.
But fire ends, you could like drive along. So you're not going to, that's just an access occasionally to move cars in and out.
Right. And we're not here to talk about the stormwater value of the grass or not. But so the cars come in that way, right? The garage is on the far side.
Yes.
And this may not really matter too much other than it dictates some of the mass and the structure. The cars are in the garage, then you have a lift for the cars.
Yeah, for viewing on the first floor.
So that lift raises a particular car to the first level. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. If you can stop that, that's perfect. So a part of my concern is this part of the house, in part because of the architecture and in part because of its function, right? It takes on a bit of a commercial appearance to some degree, particularly the garages and I'm just wondering, the extension of the stone to the first level at the corner there sort of raises the mass of the house a little bit too, because right, the addition is taller, even at the same sort of elevation as the current building, right? The current home.
No, I mean, no, not really. No, the addition is about the same height as the existing building.
I mean, well, I don't have the dimensions, so the drawings make it.
Yeah, I mean, the gate, there's 2 floors, and the gate, it's the same number of floors. There's actually an attic floor on the existing building, but no, it's not. I mean, if you look at the roof line, you can see it from this image. If you take the perspective from the roof line and continue it to the existing gable, it's about the same line.
Yeah, no,
I gave direction to Jim that this is Josh Stone, the owner of the house. I gave direction to Jim that the new addition was not to exceed the existing structure of the house. So maybe a foot. I mean, I told him
there's a little bit, but it's not.
I was pretty adamant about it.
Yeah.
The front and back elevations make it look tall, and that's why I was trying to get a clarification. But and
the side slopes. I mean,
and unfortunately, because there's no landscaping on this perspective, right? It's a little bit the abruptness and the harshness of the mass and the stone kind of is a great deal.
We can look at the panoramic view. I mean, that's what you're really going to see.
Yeah.
And especially with the additional, I mean, in the landscape plan that has the site screening.
Right.
Actually, from a private, yeah.
And you guys
are not going to see that from the road.
You guys already did a lot of that roadside landscaping, front landscaping, right? I'm curious as to the sequencing of work there.
Yeah, what you see from the photograph.
That's all done, and then there's been subsequent landscaping that was done in front of the house with a lot of
Right.
shrubs and stuff to screen. And just candidly, look, Ruxton Road's it's a well-traveled road. I plan to screen, as much as I can tastefully
Right.
beyond, what's already been done.
Yeah. So I'm not a landscape expert, so there are others on the panel though. So my only real comment there is it's sort of making sure that the landscape plan can soften a little bit of that side, take some of that sort of very, strong, large mass, because again, the site does kind of, contours away from the garages there, and that's the exposed, and that's the most, the garages are probably the least attractive part of the house, even though they're attractive garages. I don't mean to suggest that. So I'm just going to say that I'd love for our folks on the panel who are the more landscape experts to take a look at that and look at how that perhaps softens that elevation and that corner a little bit.
And then and this plan is showing new planting at that.
Right.
At the
Yeah.
garage.
It's the particular selection of plants that I'm not that good at.
Well,
So I'll
yeah.
ask others to look
And
at.
these are coniferous trees, so they'll be green year round, so it's not deciduous.
Right. Got it. Okay. Other than that, I really don't have any other comments. The house is far enough set back from the road that even though it's the massing is on this corner and there's an elevation change, I don't think there's an issue. I do love the way the mass of the existing house is kind of tucked behind the house, but it's pretty consistent with what other houses are along Ruxton Road, so I don't have any issues with that. And if the neighbors don't have comments or concerns, then I don't think that I have any particular concerns at the moment. So Joseph, I'll pass it on to others.
Okay, thanks, Mr. Anderson. Let's go to Mr. Khan next.
Thank you.
Sure.
Again, I don't have any major comments. I think the comments that we just heard about screening, I think, is important to continue down that path as you've started. But I think that the decision to use similar materials, I think keeping the ridge lines similar to what's there, so it really does blend together, that I think overall, I think it's pretty successful.
Thanks, Mr. Khan. Let's go to Mr. Renaud.
Hey, Joe. Yeah, I think the landscaping is appropriate. I think the only thing on the landscape plan that isn't very clear is it looks like the proposed driveway, which is hidden, it looks like it comes from those two trees kind of at the top of that parking court there. I'm not quite sure how the vehicles get through there, the way that's drawn. And then with the fence
Yeah,
that's there.
I think before, so there was a landscaping plan. This is the owner. There was a landscaping plan that was done before the addition was contemplated that's being pulled off of. So that's not going to be accurate as to what's there when all is said and done. Apologize.
I would also say this is a coordination issue.
Yeah.
Between civil and landscape. So it just we've got to work on them.
No, understood. I would just recommend that,
Yeah.
for the county's perspective, you get that updated on your final.
We will, yeah.
Final plan. And then, yeah, I think the planting on the corner, I think that seems adequate. I might recommend bringing, if you're going to take those two trees out, or I'm not sure if they're existing or not, but maybe there's a couple.
They don't exist. They don't exist as we're,
Okay.
Well, I could check what they've been doing outside as of yesterday, but they're not supposed to.
Just maybe to Fran's point, you have the crepe myrtle on the kind of holding that corner. It might be nice just to bring a couple more smaller trees out to the other side of the hidden driveway, just to get a little bit more material in the foreground again, just to put a little bit of extra softening to that corner of the garage. But otherwise, I think it's quite appropriate. So I appreciate the effort you're putting into the overall property.
Okay, thanks, Mr. Renaud. Let's go to Mr. Sharma. Mr. Sharma, if you're out there, unmute, and it's your turn.
All right. So I don't have any major comments or concern. One thing I noticed in the rendition that front yard and backyard doesn't have a continuous grade. It looks like it's in steps, which I don't know. It's it's in compliance or it's a norm in the neighborhood or don't know. So can you please?
Mr. Sharma, do you have a question for the applicant?
Yes, about the front yard, backyard. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Yes, we can hear you fine.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So my question is that from rendition, it appears that front yard or backyard doesn't have a continuous grade. It's in the steps, which I'm wondering if that's the norm or in
No,
compliance.
that is the SketchUp rendering.
Yeah.
What you're seeing.
Yes, that's what I'm.
Yeah,
Can
it's
you
just
make it
it's
so
just
that
the graphics from the program. That's all. From the topography.
Well,
Yeah.
let's take.
Yeah, that's just the topography with the sketch.
I see.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay. All right. That's all I have.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm not.
It gives you. I mean, it's not. It gives you a sense of contours without having a. I mean, you understand that, but it's not a, let's say, a picture perfect rendering.
Yeah, in actuality, it'll be a rolling hill or whatever the proper
Yeah,
term
I mean,
is, right?
you get a sense of it.
That's all.
All right, thanks, Mr. Sharma. So to clarify, I think there's not going to be steps there. That's simply a function of the computer program, and it's going to be a continuous slope down the wall.
Yes.
Great, thank you.
It won't be terraced like that. Yeah.
All right, so let's go to Ms. Sauce.
Hey everyone. I have a question. The stream to the south, is that just more like a dry bed or a little creek, or is that an actual stream?
That is an actual stream.
So there's water running through there
Hmm.
most of the time. Okay.
And there are
think-
guidelines that we have to meet in dealing with stormwater, any kind of sediment and erosion control, stormwater management, and the civil drawings will show up. They'll have that obviously for the permit.
Yeah, we're
And we're far enough away. I mean,
Right.
we're okay. Yeah.
No,
Correct,
I
we're
understand
not-
that. I couldn't see it on the aerial, but I would just recommend more native planting in that area. I know you have some American hollies, but you also have the green giant arborvitae, which are more fast-growing trees, but they tend to have shorter life. And there's not really any flowering understory. So with that being a stream, I know you're following the regulations, but I just recommend using
Oh,
more
okay.
natives and understories to enhance that buffer for
Mhm.
visual clarity. And then to the east, I know that there's a row of evergreen shrubs along that property line, but I think since you're elongating the architecture, maybe a few more canopy shade trees there would help to soften the impact of the view from that neighbor, and you guys would be the good neighbors providing that visual break for them. But aside from that, it looks like a good plan. There's definitely a theme. Just better coordination with the civil for the landscaping. I think it looks good.
Okay, thanks, Ms. Sauce. So let's go to Mr. Stevens.
Hello, everyone. I guess I just want to follow up with the similar comments that Mr. Anderson and Donald Can had to say. From my perspective, I would say this is really a very good design, and I guess the only comments I was going to have was pertaining to the landscaping plan and the site plan, but you obviously understand that some coordination really has to happen there. I was looking at the entry of that 3-car garage of the addition, and there's a retaining wall on the right-hand side that really needs to be accommodated well, and it's not really indicated on the landscape plan, but you understand that has to be totally coordinated. As far as the exterior elevations, I guess on the west elevation, I would only propose as a possible study is to really soften, I guess, the impact of the travertine um, on the parking garage structure and how that connects to the home, and maybe introducing the stained cedar siding uh, on that first level only. Just look at that, and maybe that really softens that a lot more than what it's currently indicating. Um, I mean, that's my only comment. Outside of that, looking on the opposite side, on the east elevation, I want to, I guess, understand. Um, I understand you have that balcony that's extending from the facade about 5 feet, and you have a overhang that extends from that all the way to the roof. And I'm just, I guess, want to say you may want to just take another look at that, and maybe you might want to consider not having that. It just seems like that, and I could see if there were doors
I
below.
like the continuation of the horizontal line.
The what?
I like the continuation of that horizontal line.
All right, it's
In
just
passing. Yeah, I mean, that's a,
it's just a comment. I mean, because
yeah,
it's 5 feet extending from the
sure.
and
And it covers the terrace too.
I mean, I could understand. Yeah, I could understand if there were doors below that, but I mean, that's your take.
Yeah, I understand.
Yeah. So, I mean, that's it for me. Other than that, the design works.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Stevens.
You're welcome.
So I get the privilege and opportunity to go last, and after all these professionals make their comments, I think everybody stole mine. So I have no further comments beyond what was already discussed. So I think the panel really hit it well. And I do want to tell the architect and the owner this is very tastefully done. I really like it. And well done. All right. So if there are no further comments, who would like to make a motion? And just a reminder that you may make a motion to approve it as is, approve it with conditions, or require an additional review with a second meeting. So I'll open it up to the panel.
Joseph, I guess I can. There's one point of discussion or clarification that I think I missed. There was a request to update the landscape plan. Was that right? Is that what I heard during the discussion?
Yeah, I heard a request to update the plan and coordinate the landscape plan with the civil engineering plan.
Okay.
That's right.
Just remember, Fran, that the landscape plan would have to be submitted to the county landscape architect for review and approval. So just wanted to put that out there.
Yeah, and my intention in making a motion would not be to try to bring this back in any way. Just to note that so I'll try it this way. I'll make a motion that the project be approved on the condition that the landscape plan is updated and properly coordinated with the civil plan. It does not need to come back to staff or to the design review panel to review that if it's going to be obviously reviewed by the county.
Okay, thank you very much. So we have a motion on the floor. Do we have a second?
I second.
I think that was Mr. Stevens. Is that accurate?
Yes, it was.
Okay, great. Thanks, Mr. Stevens.
You're welcome.
And I'll ask all in favor of the motion, say aye.
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 I think I heard everybody. Any opposed to the motion? Okay. The motion carries, and you are approved. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
So let's move on. That's all the items on the agenda. Would somebody make a motion to adjourn the design review panel meeting?
I move that we adjourn.
That was Mr. Khan. Thank you, Mr. Khan. Do I have a second?
I second that.
Okay.
Julie.
Thanks, Ms. Sauce. Yep. Awesome. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any
Aye.
opposed? Hearing none, and the motion carries to adjourn the meeting. That's it. Thank you very much, everybody, and have a good evening.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Thanks,
Thank
everybody.
you, everyone.
My pleasure, anytime.
Thank you very much.
You're welcome. Have a good evening, everyone.
Bye.
Bye now.